Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to today's video. Firstly, I hope you've all been keeping well and staying safe during these turbulent times. Remember, we've all we've got, guys, so be sure to look after one another. Now, before I begin as well, I do apologize. You already can see that there is the title already gives it away, how that business venture went. But the first business venture, it was definitely such a really good learning block. It was really good for me to experience it, throw my hat into the ring. A really cheap buy-in to learn the lessons of business. So then when I do actually jump into a business that I'm a lot passionate about, that is a lot more long-term, I feel, and that's a lot more beneficial to a lot of people and relevant in today's industry, there was no better way, foundations, principles that I could begin with than starting off with this business. So as well, before I begin, be sure to go and watch the previous video, because that video explains a lot more about myself, gives good context as well to this video in itself, and basically highlights, was it something that I was born with in terms of the entrepreneurial tendencies, or was it something that I picked up and ran with and went all in as I learned throughout life? So go back and watch that. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm pretty excited, so don't know why I went like that. So to begin with, the business, or at least the industry that I was a part of, was called network marketing, multi-level marketing. And already, I'm sure there's a lot of people going out there. It's a pyramid scheme. There's a hell of a lot of these bad stigma against the industry in itself. And to be fair, rightly so. There is a bad stigma to it, but also providing a bit more of a logical explanation as to, I guess, how it's got its name. But if we understand Business 101, within any business industry, within any genre or niche, there's always going to be some good eggs and as well some bad eggs. It's usually up to us as to which way we want to go. And before we do anything as well, we need to make sure that we do our own research. It's up to you on how you want to play it. And ultimately, it comes down to the actions that you take and whether or not you go all in with it, or if it's something that you dabble in and then eventually just go, blah, it doesn't work. So let me go back to, I think, year 9, when I first got a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And this was something that I was just completely mind blown. At the time, I didn't really use that the principles within this book because, again, I just wasn't ready for the information. But this sort of lit a spark underneath me. In that book, that said everything to me back in 2003, but I didn't really understand it or experience it until I actually had to go out and work a 9-to-5 or be part of the rat race, so to speak. So there was a lot of principles in here that I learned. It sort of planted a seed in my head. My parents are from an island called Niue, and it's, growing up or seeing them grow up, it was completely different to what they have here. So I have this gratitude and appreciation for what they've done. If you can imagine, they grew up warming water for a shower, and it wasn't even a shower. They had a bucket, they had a cloth, and they would wash themselves. Also, they had to cook their food on the fire. You can see how primitive it was. And to move from Niue to the bright lights of New Zealand and just seeing this completely different infrastructure, electricity, I'm probably doing them a disservice. I'm sure there was electricity on the island back then, but you get my point. Moving from Niue to New Zealand, the bright lights of New Zealand, and from New Zealand to Australia, again, the bright lights of Australia. I just am so grateful for the opportunity that myself and my family have here right now. And don't get me started on the way that us islanders, at least my generation, is not taking advantage of that opportunity. It's just appalling to see that they've been able to do that, move 2 or 3 different countries, yet here we are just taking it for granted. So again, that's a video for another time, but I do have just some disdain and just annoyance with how we are as a generation, especially us islanders, and not taking what we have that's in front of us or they've given us. So anyway, back to the book here. It planted that seed in me, and I knew that there was something better than what I have at the moment. Fast forward about 12 years later, that's when I started my first business venture. 12 years later, from 2003 is 2015. I feel old now speaking about 12 years, 15 years, whatever. But anyway, 2015 was when I first dived into that business, network marketing. I aligned with a company that I was, basically I saw a lot of businesses out there within this business model. I also had a look at so again, being in IT, understanding computers, understanding, being able to research a lot of things, go into the nooks and crannies of the internet. I saw that, yes, there was definitely a lot of negative reviews of this industry, but I also found that a lot more people were there who have read this book. A lot more people were there advocating the likes of Jim Rohn, advocating the likes of learning and becoming a better version of yourself. And I thought that is exactly the group that I want to be around. So lo and behold, I went into the industry. I did my research. I found a company that I aligned with, and just went all in. And as I said beforehand, this work ethic that I had again, watch the previous video, but I was working 10, 12 hours in the IT corporate 9-to-5 game, and also building a business on the side that I thought could actually take me to where I want to get to. And with any business, you need to put in the work. It's just to think that you can just jump into a business and work an hour a week on it, it just doesn't work. So I saw this, I understood the benefits of self-development plus implementing a lot of the things that we were taught and just going really hard at it. I went all in, and to see the fruits and to see the labor of it come forward, I'll show you guys a few of these videos that I can compile and put together of what I've been able to achieve. The first thing that I was able to achieve was actually to go over to America. I thought that was something I'd never do, or if I were to do it, I'd do it once and once only. I went in 2016 with the company, also went in 2017 as well. So being able to go over there with an amazing group of people, with some friends that we have here on all the beaches as well, that was awesome. That was really cool to experience. And again, there was a few business trips that we were a part of too, that we traveled around, I guess, the nation. One of the key ones that I really enjoyed was our trip up to Port Douglas. Now, this was a business trip that was celebrating how we went with within the industry. And for those who made it, they were the ones who were, I think it was a top 30 or top 40 around Australia to be able to achieve that. And fortunately, I was able to go with the crew. And again, I'll show you some videos that we'll put together. But if I look back at it, those were really the awesome times. That was the first business venture that allowed me to really experience the world, really go out there, apply these principles that we learned in these books, and then take it out to the market. Through this industry, we were able to learn about sales, we were able to learn about our customers, understanding people a lot more in depth, and just speaking to their wants and needs rather than trying to sell them something, hoping that they would be the right fit. So not only that, Jim Rohn speaks about it, and also a part of a group I'm part of was said, this resonated with me last week. It says, work harder on yourself than you do your business. And I thought, isn't that phenomenal? Isn't that something? And that was something that was preached, probably wrong use of word. That was something that was reiterated to us within this industry. Work harder on yourself, i.e. these books, i.e. the investments that you make on coaches, on mentors, and really just learn a lot more about yourself, and that will then replicate into the business. So I guess the question is now, why didn't I pursue it? What made me move into a different space, and what allowed me to build the agency that I have right now? Now, the biggest thing there was I was trying to juggle this side hustle whilst also working a 9-to-5 job. The real reason was I lost passion for it. I lost the drive and sense of urgency around the business model. Do I still use the products that we have? Absolutely. This is 5 years on and I'm still using the products in my fridge, and it's I am still a believer of that. Again, the business is still around as well. I think around 15, 20 years later after they were first founded, to me shows that sense of credibility and sense of ownership within the market. So that was pretty cool. But what I'd found was a lot more of a passion was coming through online. Social media was something that I've been using since I think 2005, 2004. Now, it wasn't necessarily Facebook at the time because Facebook was founded then, but it was MySpace, it was Bebo, it was MSN, and I was always, even though we didn't really have the best internet, I think it was like a wireless modem that was really poor, but I was still traversing the internet. I was still enjoying connecting with other people, learning about coding, learning about social media, and seeing how people can connect and communicate all around the world through this platform. So at the time, MySpace, I really saw that you can really customize and really make the most of, your profile or your website, so to speak. And that started to get the juices going around the space. So as I come into the late ends of 2018 and understanding the business model of digital marketing and being able to, number one, create a image online that represents the business, and then having them to sell online as well, or actually at least get in leads and help build the business and infrastructure around it. That was pretty cool in itself. If I can have a hand in as well how the brand is represented online and making sure it's congruent, that was awesome, because that all played into a part of making money for that business, helping that business owner out. So when I saw that, that was me. It was something I've been doing since I was 5. Anything to do online, I've just had this nous and had this passion for it. If you watch the last video, we showcased that I didn't see that, but my father did. And what he had done is pulled my ear and pulled me up at the same time, lifted me off the ground. And and got me thinking, hang on, wait, there's this passion around me working my mind, which is what he said, and not breaking my body, but also really impacting and making a lot of change. There was nothing else other than seeing a market that was moving, being a part of this market for 15, 20 odd years, no longer than that, 25 years, wow. And just going with it. So that's the reason why I jumped into social media. That's the reason why I jumped into the IT space again, but not necessarily on the technical side, but more empowering and embedding and image marketing, advertising, return on investment initially for business owners out there. So that was the reason. So that there in itself is the business venture. Now, would I recommend network marketing for people out there? Absolutely, because it gives you a really quick entry fee into entrepreneurship. You don't have to mortgage your house. You don't have to drop 100, 200K into it. You can pay $1,000, $2,000 just to enter the game. And then most importantly, learn more about yourself, invest in yourself, and just understand that where you are at the moment isn't necessarily going to be where you are down the track. One, because you're bettering yourself. If I had my time back again, I would by far dive into a network marketing company that helps facilitate or allows you to learn more around good groups of people. Now again, remember there are sharks out there who want what's best for them. So keep an eye out, make sure you follow your gut. But if you can get around people who are looking to better themselves, learn, invest in themselves, and become a better person because of it, there is no better way than to do that within that space. Also, because it's a low entry fee as well, you get to go in there and play the game. Again, it does require a lot of work. Any business model there requires a lot of work, but if you can test the entrepreneurial space out there in this industry, you really get to see if this is for you. And if it is for you, and if it's something that sort of sparks that underneath you, then by far you'll do well, as long as you put in the work and stay congruent and as well keep yourself in check. Again, that's where a lot of the self-development comes from. Is that something that I would see you succeeding and leveraging down the track? If you're the 1 or 2% who really do well in it, absolutely. But those foundations that you get from this business model, you can take it on and build something else, exactly like what I've been able to do. A lot of the foundations, a lot of the lessons that I learned was all because of learning within that industry. So if I was you, have a look around. If there's any companies that resonate with who you are, your values and your morals, be sure to check it out. Don't dive in without doing the research. Have a look at the background of the company. Have a look at the background, how long they've been around, the longevity of the business. Is there security behind it? And most often than not, go in and play the game. Because the worst thing you can do is look from afar, not participate, not take action, not throw your hat into the ring, and then just come up with this conclusion going, oh, it doesn't work. Whereas those who do actually go in there, play the game, throw their hat into the ring and find out, those are the ones who then realize very quickly, is it for them? No, they go out and do something else. But they do take away a few of the fundamentals that comes with it. So that is my first business venture. I hope you guys do get some value from it. I hope you guys do get some value of whether or not you should be diving into an industry like that, or if you should be investing 100, 200K into a business and then trying to work that back within, 12 months. It doesn't make sense, and it also puts a lot of pressure on that individual and as well their family, which I do not like seeing. But on the flip side, being under pressure really sort of makes, cliche, diamonds from a lot of people. So if you're the type of person who can do that or wants to do that, go and do that. But for me, if I was in your position, find a group of people who are all about self-development, bettering themselves, entrepreneurship. Network marketing is a good space, but it isn't for everyone as well. But the key thing here is go out and figure it out for yourself. If it is, great, go out with the 100% conviction. But if not, remember, there's always some good stuff that you can take away from it. Grab it and as well find something else. Hope that's of value. I did ramble on a little bit, but I do really want to convey this message out to you guys, and I hope that helps with any of you guys wanting to pursue entrepreneurship. Anyway, hope you're well, keep safe, keep well, and I'll speak to you guys very soon.